Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Harumasa has been just drip marketed, so let's talk about what we know so far from his kit. Before I go into his kit stuff, I would also like to mention that he's an electric attack S-rank DPS, which is very interesting because Lighter supports primarily fire and ice damage teams. Technically, you could still use Lighter within a Harumasa team as a typical classic stunner, but Harumasa would not get the entire benefit out of Lighter as an electric DPS, which is very interesting because same with Yanagi, I'm not sure how well will Harumasa work with Yanagi unless if Harumasa ends up being a support slash anomaly in disguise type of character, even if he's an attack. If he's like an off-fielder or something like that, which is possible based on what we know so far from his kit. And if that's the case, then Harumasa and Yanagi could also be a thing. We'll be certain about this next week when we get full Harumasa kit out there. And of course, I will cover that as well. And before I talk about Harumasa preliminary kit, I would also like to let you know that a lot of you guys who watch me are not subscribed to me. And if you enjoy this type of videos, just as a friendly reminder, you can subscribe and support me. Thank you very much. And of course, if you like this video, also give it a like, smile. And now let's go into Harumasa kit. So as you can see on the screen, current Harumasa information. He has an aim shot that can attack while moving like Grace. So he seems to be absolutely a ranged unit as well, where you can attack from range. There might be some possibility where he can change stances like Tartaglia from Genshin Impact from bow to dual wield swords potentially, because his bow does transform, at least it can go into dual wield. And he also might have some form of a taunt animation, which doesn't make that much sense as of right now, but as we go over the other information we know, it might shed some light into it. His X special attack currently costs 60 energy, and he can also shoot traps in his aiming mode to make them explode. So this could be something similar also to Ganyu from Genshin Impact, which can also drop with her skill, technically a thing, a trap on the ground that can taunt enemies. So perhaps it could be like that, and then Harumasa can trigger them manually by shooting them, or maybe they explode on their own. This is also one of the ways how he could be an off-field DPS, by just laying out these traps on the field, and enemies trigger it, and you'll do some damage, with the potential to also manually detonate it. This could be clunky to play, because enemies do move a lot around, and the traps might not trigger, but if you can manually trigger them, and the radius is rather large, I think it should not be a problem. And also his main arrow, whenever it hits an enemy, it will mark them. They're not exactly sure whether this will do something, or it's related to handling of the traps by marking them, shooting them, and making them explode. So that's a possibility. Also, the traps currently last for 10 seconds before exploding, and when making traps after the cap is reached, oldest one will explode first. This will be also a situation where you throw a lot of traps, one after the other. The previous one immediately detonate on the enemy, while the new ones will also detonate because enemy is technically standing upon them. So this could also be a lot of damage. I'm not sure in practice how clunky or smooth this will be to play, if this ends up actually being his finalized kit. Also, a very interesting thing, that his counter is something unique to him potentially, that he might not have a typical defensive assist or evasive assist, but he has something completely new and different. And these type of things are possible to be in the game, because do remember that Caesar requires teammate for her additional ability either to be able to have a defensive assist or share the same faction. So making a new DPS that has a different type of assist to make sure it doesn't work, for example, with additional ability of Caesar, could make sense. And now you might mention, but why not just give him evasive assist then? Well, perhaps they plan to release another character in the future that will have an additional ability, which will require to be played with a teammate that has specifically evasive assist. Just by giving a character a unique evasive slash defensive type of assist that's not one or the other could make sure for future stuff that it would not work with him that well, at least he would not have the additional ability. Also, we know how many traps he can currently generate. His special 2 from this quote-unquote counter 2 as well. Basic attacks 4, which is I assume a chain of attacks you have to do to deploy them. X special attack is gonna drop 4, chain attack 6, and also the maximum amount of traps is 6. So already we mentioned before, the older traps will explode when you deploy the newer ones if you reach the 6 cap. So technically you could also detonate them very quickly like that. This character seems very interesting, but this is just preliminary stuff what we know so far. Next week, we'll have a clearer picture of how his kit works. If you watch this video at a later time, just check my channel and you probably will find those videos out there as well if you're interested in that stuff. And also, if you do subscribe to my channel, I do cover more than just Zenless Zone Zero. I also cover Honkai Star Rail, and I also do stream every single day on Twitch/YouTube, so you can always find me there if you have any questions or anything like that. Personally, for me, I'm thinking about skipping this character unless if he ends up being a meta best in slot pairing for Yanagi, Miyabi, or something like that in the future. If that's not the case, then I will probably skip. But if you're looking for a strong attack, like you don't have that many attack units on your account and you want to have some attack coverage, he will probably do his job just fine. Like I said, we'll be more certain next week whether he's gonna be a non-fielder DPS or more like a supportive of field type of DPS that potentially synergies better with some other upcoming characters. We shall see very soon enough, and I'm definitely excited to see how these kits will end up being. So yeah, I guess this is it for this video. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.